Alrighty, so this is stepping through the lesson plan for Year 8's Friday Period 1, which is about empathy. The big point that we're trying to get at is we want the Year 8s to be sharing some of their wisdom with Year 7s, and also just to be understanding that as a learner, you're part of a community and you have a certain responsibility to act for others and to know the community that you belong in, which is Turramurra High School. So, what you will need is this lesson plan, so make sure you print it out. I have printed out some of these giving back bricks. So these are just sheets in different colors for the second activity. You will also need these words of wisdom bricks. So this is activity number 4 there. We may run out of time doing number 4, see how you go, but I'm just going to step through each of these activities, which they all help students understand what empathy is and how to be empathetic in a learning community. Okay. The links for resources are here, and I'll make sure I give these physical resources to you. Oh, and you will also need some blue tack because these cards will need to end up on the giving back wall, which is going to be in the amphitheater. Important thing to note, the lesson will be about an hour long. You will need to bring the students down to the amphitheater before the bell goes so they can stick this onto the wall, which will be in the amphitheater. All right, let's go through each of them so that you understand how they run in the classroom and what to look out for and how to, I guess, what's important. First one, stepping back in time. These Year 8s, they had the immersion week this time last year as a brand new student at Turramurra High School. And so, bring this series of images up. You can do it as a slide. I'll just show you what they are. These are photos of them as Year 7 first week in high school, and so you can see they're really keen. Things that they did, some of the work that they designed, and their reflections and all that. And so, have them share. One thing they remember about the first few days of Year 7. It might very well be that they got lost or they found it hard to make friends, and these are some of the reflection points that we want them to think about. It might be that they were nervous, but try to get students to reflect on their experience so that they can have something for the next activity. Cool. Then do a whirlpool, which is when they sit in a circle and everyone says something very short and sweet about what they were like on the first few days of high school. So it could just be that someone stands up, says, I felt a bit lost, I was excited about the new subjects we had, and you go around the circle so that everyone has a chance to contribute. Alright, and that's the first one. Now, hopefully that's going to help them do the second activity, which is the giving back wall. You will hand out one of these sheets to each student. If you can bring texters and stuff, that will be helpful. If not, pens are fine. But each student's going to complete one of these sheets. First question they got to answer is, in my first weeks of high school, fill in the blank. So, some suggestions might be, in my first few weeks of high school, I found it hard to make friends. Or I was scared of my teachers. I wasn't sure what to expect. I got lost. I didn't know where the uniform shop was. Or something like that. Get them to reflect on what they felt like in the first few weeks. And the point of the lesson is for them to be able to encourage or share this wisdom to the current Year 7s, now that they've grown up and they've learnt from this, from their year of experience at Turramurra High School. So once they've done that, they can fill out the second part. I wish I had known that, and they fill in the blank. And hopefully this column is an answer to their thought from the first one. So they might say something like, I found it hard to make friends in my first few weeks of high school. I wish that I had known everyone else in year 7 are in the same boat and would love to get to know me. Everyone, yeah, there is this sense of community there. It could be, I was scared of my teachers. I wish I had known that teachers are there to help. It might be, I didn't know where to look. I wish I had known that in my diary, in my school diary, I've got a map of the school. I've got teachers' emails and whatnot. So encourage all the students in the class to have something that they want to share to the current grade of year 7s to help them in their journey. And now that is in a way showing empathy. It's them understanding what year 7s are currently facing and also acting on it by sharing this encouragement or this piece of wisdom with them. Once they've done the card, get them to hang on to it, and in the last 15 minutes of the lesson, give them some blue tack so that they can stick this onto the giving back wall. So the hope is that they're going to be tiled like bricks, and this whole wall will be set up in the MPC for year 7s as an exhibition, so that year 7s can look at it and can, I guess, find some comfort knowing that year 8s are there to help them. And that's a way of us building community between the grades as well. All right, the third activity, seeing empathy. Now, there's a YouTube video. This is about
if you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly.
An athlete who gets injured on track but finishes the race. You can have a watch of that. The links are all there. But there's a point where he stumbles, he gets injured, and then he continues the race, is determined to get to the finish line. His father is there to help him as well. And it's a very emotional tearjerker, but it shows a lot of different, I guess a lot of different stories or lessons can be learned from this, from the racer's approach, the father being empathetic by understanding and by acting upon the need of this racer who is his son as well. They end up walking to the finish line to great applause. Okay, so some questions that you could, that students could think about and could share in a circle are, you know, what stands out, what emotion, what's in each person's head, and so on. But it's really for them to think that, to understand that emotions have a part in a learning community, that we're there for each other to support each other, even when troubles or when people get injured in a race. There is still value in finishing the race, and there's value in supporting each other to run the race as well. All right, the final activity, if there is time, and hopefully there is the words of wisdom. This is another brick card that students can work on in groups, and this is a way that students in year 8 can communicate words of encouragement in a letter or poem. It could be writing a verse, could be a picture, could be a song, something that that they want to share with this year's year 7s. And so this also goes on to the giving back wall. All right, so the important thing is that you finish your lesson at 9:45 in your allocated classrooms. Bring them all back down to the amphitheater, because they will need to spend about 10 minutes to stick these sheets onto the giving back wall, which will be set up in the amphitheater tomorrow. Awesome, and that's the lesson. So once again, the big idea is for them to realize that year 8s are actually role models for year 7s, and they've got valuable insights that they've learned throughout the year to share with this year's current year 7s. We want to build this sense of community within Turramurra where grades are supporting each other. All right, I will give these resources, I'll leave them on your tables. If not, see me in the morning and I'll be in B for that. Cool, hope that was helpful. Shoot me an email if you need. See you folks.